Hello and welcome to the complete new player's guide for Star Citizen. Today we're going to talk about the MFDs, the Mobiglass, and how to earn your first space bucks. In this series, we're going to touch upon a few subjects that maybe the advanced players don't know about. So even if you're not new to the game, you could still learn a thing or two, so stay tuned. If you're thinking about buying Star Citizen right now, you can use my referral code and it's going to be down in the info section of the video. If you use it, you can get a slight boost with your starting money, and you should consider subscribing because I'm posting pretty much daily. And since I'm a music producer and a composer and whatnot, I'm going to be posting a lot of original music and original content inspired by Star Citizen. All that said, my name is GrumpyEye, and let's start with the tutorial video. If you didn't watch my previous video, you're probably wondering why am I already up in space. You should watch that video first. But the first topic of this video is going to be the MFDs, or the multifunction displays in your ship. You can access those by holding F and going into the inner thought mechanic of the game and clicking on the screen. Now, most players do not know this. If you hold F and you click your middle mouse button, you will zoom in and lock onto the MFD you're looking at. Now, all of the ships have a different MFD layout, but the main principles on how to use them are the same. You can also change the layout of the MFDs in your ship by clicking the menu button on the top left corner of each MFD. Now let's go through all the menus one by one. This is the comms channel. Here you can call all of your friends or the station that you're trying to land on. This is the heat menu. Here you can see the status of your coolers and the status of your infrared or IR and electromagnetic or EM emissions. The lower these stats are, the stealthier you are. The button on the top right corner, the suppress overall IR and EM emissions, is currently not working, so just don't use it. This is the power menu. It is one of the most important menus that you should keep on your MFDs at all times. Here you can also see the EM and the IR emissions of your ship. This is what we call the power triangle. It is going to become really important after 3.14 patch drops, because you will be able to redirect your power from your shields to your weapons or thrusters or the other way around. So I suggest you keep your power menu always visible. If you don't want to click on the MFD to use your power triangle, you can always use the F5, F6, F7 and F8 keys on your keyboard. On the top left corner of the screen, you can see the items list. Here you can overclock or overpower all of the components that are inside your ship. You can also turn them off if you want to, but I suggest not to. You can overclock by clicking on the overclock button. You can overpower by clicking on the slider to the right. If you drag the slider all the way to the right, it will be overpowered. You should visit urkel.games to see which components you should overpower and which ones you should overclock. If you are still using the stock loadout on your ship, you should try not to touch any of these, because it's gonna break your ship pretty much. Because you're gonna need better coolers and better power plants to overclock the weapons and the shields. This is the self-status MFD layout, and here you can see your ship status in regards to the damage on your hull. Now let's take a break for a second with the MFDs. Your starter ship may have a bed, and you probably heard that you can log out in it, but yeah, that's not working right now, so don't try it. I mean, it works sometimes, but also sometimes it doesn't work and you break the game completely. Now let's get back to the MFDs. This here is the shield menu or layout, and you should probably keep this visible at all times. In the current build of the game, you're able to redirect the power to the front, back, left and right shields by pressing numpad 8, 4, 6 or numpad 2 for the back shields, or you can reset the shields by pressing numpad 5. You can also click on the shields to harden them, but after 3.14 drops, you will not be able to use this anymore. This is the weapons menu. Here you can find valuable information about the status of your weapons or the ammo that's left in your weapons, and you can also put your weapons into different subgroups so you can fire them separately by holding left click or right click, respectively. Now, this is the target MFD layout. If you target somebody by pressing T on your keyboard, you can see his hull strength, and you can see his shield's layout and the shield strength on your MFD. Also, one more thing that I forgot in the first video, if you press right shift on your keyboard, you're gonna lock your mouse controls, and that's gonna stop the ship from moving radically when you're sitting in a fucking sofa like I am, and the mouse keeps on sliding towards you. Also, if your ship is suddenly locked up and does not want to move, you should try pressing right shift to unlock it. Just don't freak out, it's the usual thing we do when we type in global chat with other people. By the way, you can close and open the global chat by pressing F12. Now let's go over the Mobiglass menus. By pressing F1, you can enter the Mobiglass. Here you can see some personal stats like your current balance, your heart rate, your physical status, and the status of your suit. You should keep an eye on those because the oxygen runs out pretty quickly. Down on the bottom of the Mobiglass, you will see some tabs that you can click on. First tab, or the first icon you click on, is the friends list, and it's pretty much the same as the MFD's friends list, but you can also see the global chat here or the party that you're in right now. The right tab on the top left corner is the tab for the pending friend requests or party requests, and you should also bear in mind that you can open up the friends list by pressing F11 on your keyboard. The next icon or tab that we're gonna click on is the Vehicle Loadout Manager. Here you can access all of the components and change all of the components on your ships. Bear in mind that if you want to change any components on your ship first needs to be stored and you need to be on the same station where the ship is. Otherwise, the ships are going to be locked and they're going to be read-only like my RSI Aurora is right now and like most of my ships are because I'm floating in space. In the Miscellaneous tab, you can change out your missiles. In the Propulsion tab, you can change your quantum drive. In the Systems menu, you can change your coolers, your power plants, and your shields. In the Weapons menu, yes, you guessed it, you can change your weapons and your missiles and the gimbals on your weapons. Bear in mind that every ship has a different hardpoint, so if you're using size 3 weapons and you want to use a gimbal on your weapons, you need to use a size 3 gimbal, and then the weapons are gonna downsize to size 2, except the size 1 hardpoints, because those will take size 1 gimbaled or size 1 ungimbaled weapons without any trouble. The last thing in Vehicle Loadout Manager is paint, but I mean, whatever. You can buy those in the game or you can buy those with real money. Anyway, the next tab is Equipment Manager for your character. On the top left corner you can see the Miscellaneous tab. Here you can equip your medical pants or your oxygen pants, and you should probably do that because there's a lot of things that want to kill you in the universe, and no, it's not the animals or players, it's just the fucking game. The next tabs are clothing and undersuit. Clothing is used when you don't have an undersuit, and I suggest you keep your undersuit on at all times because you're gonna die and suffocate in space without it, or just freeze to death. The next tab is weapons, where you can of course equip some weapons and your ammo. And the next tab is armor, where you can of course, you guessed it, equip some armor and the helmet that you should carry at all times so you do not suffocate in space. The last tab here is the utility tab. You can equip your multi-tools here and your hacking cards for hacking the security systems so you can clear your crime stat. You equip those by clicking the Save Changes and Equip button on the bottom right corner, and by pressing number 4 on your keyboard, you can equip them and hold them in your hands. That said, if I see you breaking the law, you're going to prison. The next tab is Skyline, which is pretty much just a map, but of course, because it's Star Citizen, it's gotta be 3D, and you can navigate through the star map by using your mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out. You can also click on the planets, And if you want to quantum travel to a point, you can set your route to it by clicking on the planet, moon, or station you want to travel to and clicking the Set Route button on the top of the screen. You can also clear your route by clicking the Clear Route button. The next tab is going to be the MO Trader. Here you can send money or merits to all your friends or pretty much anybody. The merits are used to get out of jail. Here I'm gonna send some money to the sweetest guy I know in the universe. So Gumby, enjoy your 1 UAC and spend it wisely. By the way, you can switch to the merits by clicking here. Also, bear in mind that every transaction is taxed, so try not to overextend. But if you have a friend or somebody that needs help, I would encourage you to send them some money to help them out. The next tab is gonna be the Contracts Manager. Up left in the General tab, you can accept the Delivery, Search, Investigation, Maintenance, Bounty Hunting, and Mercenary missions that are all legal. If you go to the Personal tab, it can contain some pirate missions, but I would advise not to accept those because you're gonna get hunted because you're gonna get a crime stat. And if I'm on the server, I'm gonna send you straight to jail. But before accepting any missions, I would advise that you accept the Call to Arms mission in the Mercenary tab so you can get some extra money for killing pirates. The last useful tab here is the Beacon tab. You can actually create a beacon so the other players can see it. So if you need a ride or some help, you can pay them to show up and pick you up or something like that. The next tab or icon on the bottom is just fucking worthless. Pretty much nobody knows what it's for. It's apparently for fixing your ship, but it's not working, so yeah, whatever. The next tab, the Vehicle Maintenance Services, can be used when you land on a pad or in a hangar so you can refuel or fix your ship. And the next tab is the Journal tab. It could be a good read, but you don't need it right now. The only useful thing in the journal right now is the commodity price alerts. You could use it for trading, but trading is completely fucking broken and don't even fucking try it. So yeah, just skip it. The last tab or icon or whatever you want to call it is the Delphi or Delphi tab. This is pretty much like your status with some organizations and companies inside Star Citizen. The higher your status is, the more money you will earn when you're doing their missions, and that's it pretty much. So that's pretty much all that you need to know about your Mobiglass. Join me tomorrow in the next video so I can teach you how to earn money in the most effective way and the things you need to do to start up and buy your first ship. This is it for today. My name is Grumpy Eye. Don't forget to bring a towel when you're traveling to space. Subscribe!